Hey class, Mr. Neidiger here, and Spider-Man. I got him to join me in my video today. We're being sure to stand 6 feet apart though, just because it's COVID time. Although I'm not standing, I'm flying apparently. Looks like I'm up in the air above New York City. But today, like I said in my last video, I'm going to talk about comic books, which is exciting for me because it's always fun to talk about the things you like, right? So let's get into it. All right, so I made just a quick PowerPoint, with different text features like it says in our home learning menu. But it'll be short because I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to me talking about comic books all day. Because I could talk about comic books all day if I want to, trust me. So the title of my PowerPoint is Comic Books. Surprise, surprise. I made a subtitle, a topic that Mr. Neidiger knows a lot about. So just a brief history of comic books. Comics have been around for a while, newspapers and magazines, but it wasn't until 1938 that the first superhero comic book came out with Superman. And then a year later, Batman came out in Detective Comics. And then it wasn't until 1962 that Spider-Man showed up with Marvel in Amazing Fantasy number 15. And these three, Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, they're the most popular superheroes of all time. They make the most money. Reading comics is a lot of fun because, it's obviously a lot different from reading a regular book because there's not just words, but also pictures. In fact, pictures are probably the more important part of comic books. And the way they do dialogue or, the text in comic books is through speech bubbles, which it's pretty interesting. There's different types of speech bubbles. There's just regular ones when people are talking normally. And there's burst bubbles. That's when people are, excited or they're yelling. And then there's a whisper bubble. So when people are whispering. My favorite is the thought bubble. It's like a cloud over someone's head. And that shows what people are thinking. And then there's caption boxes. You'll see them like in the corner of the panel, and they just have the words that the narrator are saying, not necessarily any of the characters are saying. In comic books, they're known for onomatopoeia. And onomatopoeias, they're words that sound like what they mean. And so I got a few examples that show up in comic books. Bang, pop, poof, wham, crack, bam, splash, boom, and vroom. So kind of fun, onomatopoeias. So that's my PowerPoint. Now I want to show you some of the comic books in my collection. So here is the first comic book I ever got, Amazing Spider-Man number 297. I was 9 years old. My neighbor gave it to me, and I've been into comic books ever since. This is the oldest comic book I own. Ghost Rider number 1 came out in 1973. And Ghost Rider is one of my favorite superheroes just because he's so different from, your typical superhero, just because he's kind of scary looking. This is another one of my favorite superheroes, Moon Knight. He's lesser known. I wanted to show you this one because I really like the cover on it. And that's a big draw to comic books for me, is the art in comic books. This is kind of a fun one that I have. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This one came out in 1976. And in this series, Godzilla fights against the Avengers. I always thought that would be a fun movie to see, is Godzilla versus the Avengers. This is my newest comic book. I got this like a week before everything shut down. Darth Vader number 1. And it tells the story of Darth Vader right after Empire Strikes Back. So right after he told Luke that he's his father. So kind of fun. So anyways, those are some of my comic books that I have in my collection. Thanks for listening. And I've been enjoying hearing about all of your interests. So keep those coming. If you haven't posted one about what you're an expert in, I want to hear those. But I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.